Good evening, everyone. You are on the lifeboat. I'm Captain Calhoun. How is everyone? Feeling a little more energized today. Should be more exciting for me, at least. Mischief managed. Good to see you. Seventh Son, Moni, Jason P, Miradira, Sweet Liberty, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Mile High Hokey, Alan Ballantyne. Life's good. Good to see you guys. Crazy Brumfield, Miss Dragon, Dennis the Menace. Good to see you guys. Tara, smiling. Heifer, good to see you. Good to see you. Wow, you guys had a party without me while you were waiting, huh? There's no rules against that, Might as well hang out and have a good time, right? Brock Bandy, good to see you. Brandon Calloway, Ben Bacon Bits, JDH, Layla Bradley, all my favorite people. Casey, Rose K, and from Massachusetts, Cheryl Niles, Twin Mom. Heck yeah, it's good to see you guys. It is good to see you guys. Yeah, we're going to talk about love and hate. If you saw, yeah, well, regardless, we're going to talk about it. Brandon Calloway, 4 weeks sober. Dude, that's a month. That's a big deal. That's probably the hardest part of your journey right there. Now you just got to maintain course, right? Make sure your trajectory is headed towards recovery. Make sure you're in the green, baby, and you're good to go, right? The hard part is done. It's a big deal, man. Fitzgerald family. Your favorite topic? Yeah, I was trying to think about topics like yesterday, like the alcohol thing, that are near and dear to me. And I don't know if my dad has talked about this one or not, but I know his stance on alcohol, right? So I figured I could offer some different insight into that. We will be diving into alcohol more one day, not today. I definitely have a whole lot more to talk about. That didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was done with that yesterday, but yeah, love and hate, man. I have a lot of love in my heart, and I've got a lot of hate. Um, and the love really, really serves me, and the hate does not. So, these are two emotions that you're probably going to run into a whole lot of, and one of them you can friggin' do without, and one of them you need a whole lot of. So, I think it's important to make a distinction, compare them, talk about them, make friends with them. Get to know them real good. We we're defending the honor of our crew. What's going down? Lol. You guys are so funny. All right, all right, all right. So we're gonna start with just some really boring, like definition type stuff. Love fosters empathy, compassion, and understanding. Love transcends hardship and differences, and love inspires growth and kindness. Through love, um, I know it's going to sound very cliche, but all things are possible. Crazy Brumfield, this is a root of a lot of my hate, I have to say. And we're going to talk about it. Crazy Brumfield says it took me years to be able to be okay with how my parents were when I was a child. I can relate. Sometimes it's still difficult for me. Like, it's not okay, right? But it is in the past. It is, right? It exists. It happened. Heifer says, I don't hate much, just pity. I do seriously dislike a lot of things and people, lol. Well, I mean, that's half the battle right there. Turning hate into something else is often the easiest way to deal with it. So we'll also talk about that. But yeah, love. I think that my favorite part about that love definition is transcends differences and hardships. I'm sure that you could insert a whole lot of words into the area that differences and hardships were in. Transcends everything, right? Transcends whatever you want to transcend. Love is the answer, right? And on the opposite side of the coin, hate. breeds resentment, division, and conflict. And it can lead to violence, discrimination, and my favorite word on this part, dehumanization. And what that means is treating people like less than like human, right? Treating like the opposite of the golden rule, right? Hey Joe says, what happened to Tommy? Well, nothing happened to Tommy. He's just not here tonight. So it's me. Yeah. And the way that love inspires growth and kindness, hate's going to hinder your progress and hinder your empathy, right? Your ability to connect. Hate is going to be a direct obstacle to connecting, right? And that's what we're all here for, is that connection. Um, so yeah, it behooves to do everything you can to deal with hate in a an efficient, effective manner, right? Yeah, Joe. My dad is still around. Um, he was on the morning boat this morning, and he's around in the evenings sometimes. But I will be the captain moving forward for the most part. Hey Heather, how you doing? SPTV warrior. I like that a lot too, Brittany. My favorite quote is, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. I tell you what. I tell you what. I tell you what. Yeah, so if you're like me, you probably have an abundance of both of these emotions inside you, or have at least experienced both sides of the coin, at the very least. And at the end of the day, we want to get to the root of the hate. We want to understand why, right? It's not necessarily enough to ask why and then get the answer, but understanding why we're hating it enables us uh, to process through it, and to not harbor hate moving forward, which I think is a big thing too. Once you process through, what you've done and your experiences, and how your emotions inside you, you can just go ahead and add more on top of. You can just put more hate in there if you're not careful. So, once you process through things, it's definitely important to understand your practices and your be in your present moment, so you don't end up having to do this again. That is not mushroom tea. Are you here to participate or to be a troll? Say what? Let me know now so I can axe you. We are here to connect, and I don't find it funny, dude. So good to see you, Brianna Miller. Good to see you. Cricket. Cricket. Yeah, I thought about leaving the front of the goatee, but then I thought of some ugly people that I know, and I was like, ugh, I'm gonna do the mustache. I don't know the actor's name, but there's an actor. His face popped up in my head, and he has like a goatee, and I was like, "We're not doing it, not today." Um, yeah. So love and hate. We need love. We don't want hate. Probably going to end up with a little bit of both. What do we do? What do we do with our hate? Right. Well, we want to process it, and one of my favorite ways, like I said earlier, is to turn it into something else. I mean, we can joke around, and say, "What? I'm just, the subject matter." It's not very funny, right? Coming into a recovery meeting and making drug jokes, I think, is a little not thoughtful. But I see you. We're nothing if not forgiving. Feeling sad today, says Lisa Trimble. Friend died this morning. A good man with good values. I'm so sorry to hear that, Lisa. Let's get some ones up there for Lisa's friend. Mm. Mm-mm, mm-mm, I feel so much better than I did yesterday. Holy crap. Yesterday, I just, I don't know what it was. It was probably me trying to split my sleep into two sections, which I think now in hindsight was a ridiculously terrible idea. I feel so much better after getting 8 hours of sleep. I tell you what, dude. Holy crap. It's like a black and white difference, like a night and day difference. I'm sure that it is noticeable on y'all's end too, which I think is pretty interesting. Family Landscape Company Inc. Good to see you. Yeah, I forgot to say that Tommy and Reese have a new channel called The Relatable, so you can still catch them in all their magic and majesty. All right, so turning hate into other things. Ideally, we want to turn it into love, right? But anything that's not hate is probably a little bit better than hate. So whatever you can do, and in processing through emotions and why do I feel this way? Why am I hating? Taking inventory. There's a myriad of ways to get to the bottom of this, right? But in doing so, we're going to want self-reflection. Number one, I think, is the doorway to processing, right? We want to, I am reluctant to use terms that are used in AA, so I won't. I don't want to drive anybody off, but yeah, we want to self-reflect. If there's something that is causing a rise of emotion in you that's hate, something that's causing you to be hateful, or something, if you recognize that you have hate for a certain situation, person, thing, whatever, I would delve into that and reflect a little bit. Like, what is this coming from? What am I mad about? Um, and if we are actually talking about hate, I would imagine there's a really good reason. There's probably most likely a very good reason that you're feeling that way. And I also, while I'm thinking about it, it's necessary to accept these emotions. You cannot deny the hate. It is real. You are feeling it. It's there for a purpose. It might not be serving you, right? It might not be the emotion that you want, but it's what you got, at least right now. So Mary Gonzalez says AA has helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot too. And I'm not knocking them. I just don't think, yeah, I don't need to explain that too much, but yeah, just going to use different terminology for the same stuff and it'll sound better to everyone. So yeah, self-reflect. We want to reflect on, especially in the moments when we are experiencing hate, so we can take a little inventory of why that's happening, what's going on. And if possible, yesterday I was talking about praying for your enemies. If everything was right in their world, they wouldn't be acting however poorly they're acting, right? So, on that note, also, we would like to try to have empathy in these situations when we're feeling hate. Um, Even if, I mean, obviously, it's going to be against your natural instincts in the moment to empathize with someone or something that you're hating, right? But I implore you to attempt, at least try to pretend to empathize, because that's going to bring in perspective that it's impossible to maintain the hate with, if that makes sense. You can't hate and empathize. Well, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, hate and empathy don't really coexist very well, right? So if we can try to put empathy in there, it's going to push hate out slowly. And on that note, a little further is if you can come to this place, forgive yourself or whoever you need to. If it comes down to something that you've done in your past, something you've done while you were under the influence, not in your right mind, maybe you do need to do a little, what's the word? Like apologizing, making amends, right? Going back and making things right that you screwed up, right? But also on the other side of that coin, sometimes you need to apologize so that you can forgive yourself. I know that that was the case with some of my deepest seated hate. Um, like I hated myself for what I had done. I hated myself for where I had wound up. I hated myself for many, many reasons. And at the end of the day, I wasn't able to process through that until I forgave myself. Before I was came to a place where I was able to forgive myself. Tina Serlin says, "Hate is cancer in the heart." Amen. 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 I'm gonna say that a few times. Brazy Girl hit the nail on the head, causes stress and detrimental to the physical health. It's amazing how feelings and emotions can have physical effects on our bodies, isn't it? Isn't it? Blows my mind how ideas, like which is basically what emotions are, just chemicals, right? Ideas, chemical thoughts, um, can change my physiological state. Wild. Absolutely wild. Could we hate someone if we didn't love them? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm definitely capable of hating everyone and everything. I definitely have that ability. You know what I mean? But I try to err on the side of love every time. You know what I mean? Um, and I think that so that is very thought provoking. I think if you break it down to the very like as general as possible. So I guess not break it down, but this big picture as possible. General love, general hate. I think that actions and even just the emotion of hate draw like the law of attraction draws in more of its kind, and I think love does the same. So even in situations where I can't quantify how hate would affect me negatively, I still assume that it's going to in some roundabout karmic weird way, right? If at all possible, I try to act with love and speak and move through the world with love at all times. It's obviously not possible to be perfect at this, right? But I'm always striving for it because I know everything in my life will be better for it. I'm going to be calling in, attracting positive, loving things rather than hate. And I've like kind of played with this idea in my head, and maybe it's just my experience, but throughout my life I have intentionally dove into hate and intentionally dove into love and watched what has like happened, what that bred in my life. And I have to say, if my research is accurate, my firsthand experience is accurate, then hate bad, love good, like just all across the board. Tara Smiling says, I'm currently frustrated with a family member. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I hate them, but I only feel these emotions because I love them. That's a very important distinction. It's helpful nonetheless because emotions are a tool. Yeah. When we love something, it's a lot closer to the chest. It affects us more, right? Um, hey, Cosmic Christie, glad you made it. Info dump truck. That's another good point. Wow, you guys are great. Yeah, Blessed to Crochet says it perfectly. That's exactly what we're talking about here. And back to what Tara Smiling was said, we can only do our best. You know what I mean? So whatever you do, don't beat yourself up. If you're having negative emotions towards a family member, like I said, it's probably for a good reason, right? We can totally accept how we feel and just try and treat them well, while we also attempt to understand why we feel this way, right? And if they're treating you badly, don't treat them well. You know what I mean? I'm not saying treat them badly if they treat you badly, but I'm not saying let people in that are bad. You know what I mean? If they don't belong in your space, they don't belong in your space. I definitely don't like love is good, right, in all situations, but I'm not going to go out of my way to show love to someone that's spitting on me, or I don't know, for lack of a better metaphor, right? I'm not going to go out of my way to be negative to them, but I'm definitely not going to be, go out of my way to show them love either. That's how people show you how they value you. How they treat you is how they show you what your value is to them, if that makes sense. And when people show me they don't value me, I don't, I don't need them in my space. I don't give them any energy or thought anymore. So that's something that I take for granted. I should slow down and speak about that, I think. I mean, if you've had to forgive, Mile High Hokie says, how do you know when to draw the line when you've had to forgive so many times? How do you know when to let go? This is a subjective thing. I think it's definitely going to be unique to everyone and everyone's unique situations. Um, like take family member versus just someone you know at work or something, right? Very different decision making processes are going to go into that. But I would say, just in general, if you're having to forgive someone over and over and over, maybe they're not worthy of your forgiveness. And especially when we're talking about addicts and whatnot, this is such an insidious disease. You don't want to abandon people, but you also want to recognize that you have no power over anyone else's choices or sobriety or whatever. The only thing that you have actual power over in this world is yourself. When you get up in the morning, you draw a little circle around your feet, whatever's inside that, that's what you have control over, and that's it. That's it. And your sphere of influence is slightly bigger, but your sphere of control is just you. So depending on what you're having to forgive them for, just the fact that it's a repeat thing is a red flag, right? If it's a family member versus, again, like a coworker or something, very different situation. So I'm not counseling to let them go, but definitely evaluate. You know what I mean? Are you having to sacrifice every time you forgive this person? Is this person turning around and spitting in your face? Are they not intending to, but inevitably roundabout hurting you with their actions, right? Even if they're not intending to. Like, what exactly is happening? Definitely set boundaries, right? Raise the girls on it. You definitely need to set clear boundaries. And also, something that I learned very slowly, had to learn this one a few times. What can I do to not allow myself to like get hurt, or like what can I do to like put myself in a position to where I don't need to forgive, right? This person can't get over on me, or this person, I won't need to forgive them because they don't have the opportunity to XYZ, right? Can you position yourself a little bit differently to alter the circumstances, right? And the only reason I come at situations like this from so many angles is out of love, right? If I wasn't trying to have love in my heart, I would just go for the easiest, simplest solution, right? Which, often is a lot simpler, easier than what I consider the right solution, right? And the right solution is with love in my heart. Nothing good came easy, pardon me. I try to remember that, especially with stuff like this. I mean, these issues are so complicated and so unique to everyone, right? So interpersonal and so close to the heart, really. Forgiveness is a bigger gift for yourself, not the person you gift it to. Hate literally makes my body feel terrible. And realizing that is a huge step. It's a huge step. I used to wonder why I didn't feel good or, this, that, or the other. And then I came to find out, oh, it's because I've been drinking and drugging for multiple days in a row, right? Or years in a row, right? You take all that away, start getting healthy, and then you realize, oh, wait, I'm still not feeling great. What's going on? Oh, I'm harboring hate. This emotion is tearing me apart from the inside out. And I think that this is something that we will eventually be able to quantify with science. But the place that we are as a society, this is one of those things that's like kind of a myth, right? Like it's not proven, but we all kind of know that it's true, right? Like good things breed good things and bad things breed bad things, right? Karma, for lack of a better explanation. Empathy, self-reflection, communication, right? Talking about these emotions is going to help process them. And also counseling and therapy, right? Talking about them with a licensed professional is a huge boon. Especially if you have insurance, you have the ability. I don't know, it's different in every country, right? But if you have the ability to speak to a licensed professional, counselor, or therapist, I encourage you to do so. There's nothing like paying someone to listen to your problems. I tell you what, especially when some of these problems are probably close to the heart, close to the family, close to your friend group, whatever the case may be. You can just go to a third party, not related person and tell them about it. And forgiveness is going to be at the core. I know we already talked about that, but I might as well say it again. You got to forgive yourself and others. Like Layla Bradley said, it's a great gift to yourself. and you will be grateful that you gave it. You guys can't hear my music, can you? It always sounds like it's the same volume, but my brain plays tricks on me and tells me that it's louder than it usually is. Lisa Trimble says, "There's one person I hate and won't forgive," and I can understand that. Like, again, everyone's different and unique, and I haven't suffered how you've suffered, and vice versa, right? So, like, I can't tell you what the right move is. I just counsel love, right? I would find it very difficult to love someone who hurt me very deeply, right? So, I understand. I don't know what you went through, but like I do understand what you're telling me. And if there's anything I can do for you, Lisa, just let me know. All right. I'm glad you don't think of him very often. And if I do, if I may, f that guy. That's how I feel. I am the noise opera. Good looking out, brother. I can hear the music a little bit. That's no good. I turned it down a little bit. That is no good. We'll see how that goes. Just a nibble. It was a nibble too loud, I guess. Hopefully, it wasn't off-putting. It's the cool thing about forgiveness. Aliub says, "I'm not great at forgiveness, but getting better at acceptance of certain situations. I'll walk away when I can." Walking away was my first effective tool. It enabled me to do all the other work. Um, and forgiveness totally takes practice. Totally takes practice. And honestly, your intent is half the battle, right? Once you have the proper intent, the only thing left to do is to execute, like to take the action, right? To go say the words or do the thing, right? So be patient with yourself. These things totally take time. And again, I think that was the next thing I was going to say was practice patience. This is a gradual process. This might be one of the most difficult things you ever do is this road to recovery, right? This path of recovery. So be patient. We're treading on virgin ground, so to speak. There are people who have gotten sober, right? This is not a new idea, but for you, it is. This is a path that you haven't tread before. And if you talk to people that have tread it, there is a general consensus that it ain't easy. So just be a little patient. Also, something that takes practice, right? Valerie 102 says, "I'm always careful to apologize for things I intend never to do again." I think that's important. I think that also takes a great knowledge of self, Valerie, which says a lot for where you're at. That's good. When I heard voices, it always said what I was uncomfortable hearing. Once I stopped caring, things got quiet. I think that's an important distinction. And that kind of goes hand in hand with your intention, right? Whatever I like the intent with the apology or whatever. But what you care about is what you're also going to be attracting. When I have a tornado in my brain, figuring out why I'm caring so much about something that I don't feel like I should be caring about helps me break it down, helps me move those emotions and change things, right? And also on the other side of the coin, if I don't care about something, I'm not going to be very good at it. I'm not going to, have a drive or motivation to X, Y, Z. For me, how much I care about something is of the utmost importance. And I'm sure that some discipline and self control can have an effect here, right? Which are things that I am lacking, some things that I'm working on. But man, if I care about something, it is a whole lot easier to X Y Z. The reason that I think that I'm doing this as well as I am is because I enjoy it and I'm excited about it and I care about it and it's near and dear to my heart. If that wasn't the case, you guys would not have come back. I promise. I probably wouldn't have come back either. I would have been like, I suck at this, But that's not the case. Just had went on a huge tangent on caring, but that's okay. I appreciate you. My dad used to say, you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. And that's all I have on that. As far as hating people, something that's helped me is I do believe in karma. Layla Bradley asks if I believe in karma. To find common ground, it's a whole lot easier to empathize with someone that you have common ground with, or should I say, someone that you perceive to have common ground with, right? It doesn't even matter if it's real, but if you think that you and this person have something in common, it instantly becomes easier to empathize with them. So even if you have to imagine some common ground just for the sake of exercising, just for the sake of processing through your emotions, right? In your own private space, your own safe, secure space, right? Even if you were to imagine some common ground, it would assist you, I think, in the act of processing through your hate for that person. And just being and doing positive things, right? Being of service, being grateful. I think all of those words and actions seem very, very similar to me, but they're all like a little different. You, I don't know. Yeah. And Casillas, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Good luck with your leg, Matrix. Sending you some positive vibes. Yeah, let's put some ones up for Matrix as hell. My knees, I can feel like I'm not old. I'm 32. I feel like when I'm old, my knees are gonna just not be here anymore. I wonder when I have to start looking into what I can do for the health of my knees. There's this guy on YouTube. He's called the Knees Over Toes guy. You guys know about this guy? I'm gonna start doing his workouts and try and strengthen my knees. I've heard great things from so many different people about this guy and his workouts, and yeah, dude, my joints are my weak point. My knees, my wrists, my ankles, just no good. My elbow. I think it's also because I've been in a lot of fights and I've done a lot of damage to my body. Like my wrists pop and don't move full range of motion. This elbow doesn't. Like maybe it's this one. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But knees over toes. I'm gonna start working on my knees. I am so not flexible. I did a little bit of yoga before doing this. When I do down dog, I can't put my heels down until like my fifth rotation through my sunrise salutation. Wild. And it's all hamstring and lower back that's tight. Um, Crazy girl. I might need to like hire you as like my consultant. You seem to know what I need. Isn't glucosamine just what my body turns sugar into? I might be wrong. Isn't that what my body turns into energy? What was I doing? Where's my where I have a notepad that is Brazy Girl comments. I just want you to know it's full of stuff that you've told me. I swear I remember that word from science class or something. No joints. No joints. Agreed. Jumper's knee. I wouldn't say I'm a professional dancer, but I do quite a bit of dancing and similar activities. I hear turmeric is good for inflammation. I dated a girl that was very against Western medicine, so we would take turmeric for all of our inflammation needs. Chairs and toilets ruin knees. Helps lubricate my joints. They definitely don't feel very lubricated. They creak and groan. And when I was a kid, I used to like jump off the highest possible things I could find and just like absorb the shock with my knees. So it makes a whole lot of sense why they're not working great. Yeah, the squatty potties, dude, game changer. I told my dad about this. He didn't know. Um, he's not a believer. I'm gonna get him one. I don't know if y'all know, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. But yeah, the bathroom is not my dad's friend. Him and the bathroom have a very colored history. So I think a squatty potty might be like, I don't know, the knight in shining armor for my dad. Um, yeah, and I don't think he's gonna like go out and get it. So I'm gonna have to get him one. I'm gonna get like a 2-pack or something because I already know the power. I need one. I need one. I have been lifting weights and I'm making sure to do like mobility exercises beforehand. Like not only do I stretch, but I'll try to like warm up because my joints are just pissed, dude. They are not stoked. Skateboarding is also a huge reason why my joints are probably messed up. I threw myself off of everything. Everything. They have travel squatty potties, dude. What? They like collapsible? That's so cool. What? It's like it's the backpack stenographer, except it's a squatty potty. Oh, they totally collapse. That's cool. Good looking out, Hef. I accept. You can be my stepmom, all right? Or my fake mom. You can be my internet mom. I had a dream about this actually. It was foretold. I love swimming. Water is my favorite thing in the whole world. And then like right under that's probably like music, snowboarding, but water's like right up here. Music, food, snowboarding. Maybe food's above music. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with food. But yes, swimming, being in water, being near water, the smell of the water, how the air smells where you're when you're somewhere near the water. Man, one day I want to live in a houseboat. I know it's probably not going to like last forever. Those kind of things just depreciate, right? But however long I could make a houseboat last, I want to live that long on the water, and then I'll come back to the mainland, right? Yeah, he's a big friggin' dude. We might need to get him, yeah, like a phone book set up for the squatty potty. Boat ma'am. Well, heck yeah. I feel so much better about today. It all comes down to my sleep and my nutrition. I tell you what, how I feel on the inside is like how I feel on the outside. I guess that's kind of a stupid statement, but I stand by it. I will be able to look at this realistically in 2 days. And if I don't make it, I don't make it. You know what I mean? I'm not super attached to it. Obviously, I would like to do it, but I mean, let's be real. I think that like just moving here, making this transition in career, like making so many big changes in my life, just getting on my feet in this new position, I think buying a cruise ticket would be ridiculously irresponsible of me. Especially when I could turn around and buy a car or like put money away for an apartment that's not in the hood. There's a million things that I should spend that money on. And yeah, I don't know. I'm down, but the logic is overwhelmingly against the cruise in my mind. I almost bought some bone broth the other day, but I don't have a pot to like a to boil stuff in. I have like a kettle for boiling water that I use for coffee, but I have all this pasta that I can't eat because I haven't bought a pot yet. So when I get a pot, we'll get some bone broth, and soup's one of my favorite things to eat. I love soup. You don't ever have to ask if your stomach can handle it. It can. You just put it in there and it's good, and it nutrisizes and gets you all nutrisized up. Magic. Magic. Info Dump Truck is respectfully requesting YouTube parents. His are defective. There. Her, I don't know your gender. Info dump trucks, parents are defective. Requesting new parents, aisle 6. I don't have a pot. I don't know why. Pretty wild. When I realized that, I was like, huh. And then every time I go to Fry's down the street, they're fresh out of pots. So on Monday, I'm gonna go wherever I need to go. I have a list: plants. We have some vitamins and such, some glucosamine, um, squatty potty. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm gonna go get on Monday. Yeah, I have a crock pot as well, and that's what I've been doing the majority of like my cooking with. That, and I have like a pan that I have like a frying pan. Lord Kiss Freak, ha ha ha, dude. I've got that one, just not the cooking one. At least I'm sure of all the things I got. That's funny. I try to stay present and conscious. When I start forgetting stuff, I feel like I'm backsliding. Thank you, Valerie. Towards your pot for soup. Love right back at you, Valerie. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to start posting photos of what I cook. And on top of that, Brock, pomegranate juice is just delicious. It is one of the most delicious juices, I feel like. Sorry to hear that. Alley says my upstairs neighbors sound like an elephant migration tonight. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I feel like at about midnight or 1 a.m. every night, like never missing a night, my neighbors are either having really loud intercourse or they're beating the crap out of each other every single night. And it like sounds like I don't want to get involved, so I don't. And I can't tell, like, part of me second guesses that thought, and I'm like, maybe he's just playing video games and he's animated, right? I don't know. I can't explain the sounds that I hear, and I'm gonna try and not think about it. You know what I mean? Because it's really none of my business. And this isn't the this isn't a neighborhood that I would be looking out for my neighbors. And I tell you what, unless it was like very strict circumstances, I don't want to find myself in a problem I can't solution myself out of. Lol, Ben, you're funny. I know what you mean, dude. Yeah, no, definitely promise I won't. If anything, prudence is probably something that I do pretty well. Um, Sometimes I definitely have to say like recklessness is a defining characteristic of mine, but recently I've definitely been erring on the side of caution. I have kicked the door in metaphorically to find myself unable to get back out many times. So I think I getting better at this caution thing. Well, I don't have a microwave, Lord Chris Kiss Freak, so I'll trade you. Although I think shipping on the stove will be a little more, or the oven. I hear that. I definitely hear that. And my parents definitely had their struggles at one time, but they're both doing great now. So having that patience and processing through that hate and harnessing love have paid off in the end. I'm not saying that I was responsible for them doing good, but not harboring that hate served me. You know what I mean? Like I was able to come to the place where, like, come to a time where I could see my parents doing well and not have hate in my heart. You know what I mean? Now I get to revel in their success as well, which if I had hate in my heart still for that, I probably wouldn't be able to even have gratitude, right? It's very interesting. Hate's a big blast door and it keeps out love. I got a Cash App 7th. Maybe I should just post it on the boat. I don't know. If you don't have I guess you do have my messenger. I'll reach out to you after this. There's so many like things. Like this is like my boat now. I can do all kinds of things. Most of the time, I question whether I should do something before I do it, and I get lost in that process. Like I've considered a lot of moves, a lot of changes, a lot of like topics, just myriad of everything. And I don't take action 90% of the time because I feel like, you know what? Let's just wait. Let's just think about it. There's so many factors to consider, but I don't think there's any harm in putting my Cash App up. Yes, they do. They tax what you gift. They friggin' do. That's why PayPal is on the description and in the channel and the video descriptions, because PayPal doesn't. But I mean, YouTube has this wonderful platform that they allow us to use, so I can't complain too much. You know what I mean? 30% is quite a high percentage, but without YouTube, we wouldn't be doing this here thing. So I'm grateful that we have the platform, right? At 80, your mother's developing new parenting skills. That's hilarious. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, but either way, you know, either have a really great attitude or your mother's uh, beating the odds. I've considered this as well. I mean, nobody's chained up over there. You know what I mean? Like, both of these humans have the ability to walk away. Like, no one's keeping anybody anywhere. So, I don't see collars and leashes and shackles over there. So, you know, they can decide whether or not they want to engage in that behavior every night. I'm not going to intervene at all. I have been that guy in the past and regretted every single day of my life. So that is a very good point. And again, like I'm open to it. I'm not. I have not decided. If I didn't want to go, I would just, if I was set on spending that money somewhere else, I would say that. Um, like, just the fact that I'm still open to it. Like, I'm down. I'm super down. Um, I know that sometimes my words and my logic is like skewed in one direction, definitely, but that's not to discount the other direction. I would love to have all I can eat ice cream and hang out with Reese. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And plus, I deserve a friggin' vacation. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, that's high on my list of things that I want to do is go on that cruise for sure. I don't really need a car. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm really close to the bus stop. Everything I need is within walking distance. But getting a car and then getting a girlfriend would just serve to distract me from my main purpose. You know what I mean? I can convince myself. I definitely can. I am such a Pisces, Tara. There's never like one course of action. I always have two distinct options. There's a myriad of options, but there's always two distinct paths that are like opposites, and I have to decide between. And in this case, I would have to say the physical fish wants a car and a girl and, to go out and do things. And spiritual Mike just wants to keep doing this, go on the cruise, and not overcomplicate things. Asparagus is so good. I think you could be worse off. Song of the day, Everlong by the Foo Fighters, but the cover version by Emery, which is an emo band that I used to, well, I still dig on quite heavily, but Emery is a emo band I discovered in high school, way back in the day. And that's my song of the day, Everlong, which is a Foo Fighters song, but they cover it. Someone asked me what my favorite band and like my favorite song was the other day, and gave honest answers, but it's such a broad thing. I decided to share a song of the day moving forward. I'll have a new one every day. I don't think I'll ever have to repeat. Maybe 3 years down the line, once I get 1,000 songs of the day, I might have to start repeating songs. Yeah, I've got a lot of Leos and a lot of Cancers in my life right now, but I don't know why. Capricorns and Virgos were mainstays in the previous chapter. Um, also, I guess Taurus is romping around me a lot right now too. Yeah, it's getting pretty late for me too, Scooby. I'm about to call it, but I am enjoying myself so much. I'm trying to drag it on, you know? Lisa from Jersey says I'm a strong Scorpio. Leos and Cancers are buds. I had a hard time relating with certain signs for a long time, um, aka Aries and Leos. Um, and I don't know if it's just like the changes that have come about in me or what, but I don't seem to have that issue anymore. In fact, it seemed to be the people I'm attracting. Yeah, I could. I could. I feel like as soon as I find a girl that I really like, it's gonna screw everything up that I've been working on. And like that's only a reflection on my lack of self-discipline. Like hear me when I say that, as no judgment on the wonderful woman that's gonna end up hanging out with me whenever that happens. But yeah, no, I know that my lack of discipline, and I know that I love women, and when I find a woman that I love, it's very distracting. So I would like to postpone that as long as possible. Let's get as much headway as we can, as much security and safety and serenity under my belt before we throw it all away. Not going to throw it away, but you know what I mean. Before I throw caution to the wind. This comment made my night. Take a cherry cola. Thank you so much. I used to feel that way, Jennifer, and then it just like I was surrounded by people that were into it for a long period of time, and it was kind of fun to listen and learn about. And I begrudgingly, slowly learned a whole bunch, and now I might as well be a gossiping girl myself. But it's fun. It is fun, and some of it rings true. Some of it definitely rings true. Love Hurts. Song number 2 of the day, Love Hurts by Incubus. One of my all time favorite songs. I do, Brittany. I do. And I don't think that's healthy. But would I trade that? I don't know, right? Is love still the same to me without that? I don't know. It's a question I've been mulling over. Like, I don't know if the fall hard thing is optional. And if it is, I don't know if not having that is good, even. I don't know. It's complicated, right? Emotion is the opposite of logic as far as I'm concerned. You can't have both in the same moment. So, you know, a lot of my a lot of relationship stuff is going to not be very logical, I guess. By Nazareth, I'll check that out. The Incubus one goes, "Love hurts. Sometimes it's a good hurt." So off key, and it makes me feel like I'm alive. Much love, Brazy girl. Hope you have a great night. All right, we'll see you in the morning. The chinchillas are now eating out of my hands. Got to be the cutest darn thing you've ever seen. All right. We'll see if I have missed any points. I think I hit literally everything I intended to. That's a first. That's really cool. Maybe it's a second. Alan Ballantyne, much love. All right, hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit all under the bell for better functionality. And yeah, this has been the Lifeboat with Captain Spanks Calhoun. I look forward to seeing you in the morning. Safe cruising.